Hello creatives, I'm Penn from thecreativepenn.com, and today I'm talking about 4 important mindset shifts that you need if you're going to make a living with your writing. Now, 10 years ago, I wrote my first book, and these are lessons that I've learned on my way to making a multi-6-figure living with my writing, because let's face it, I didn't make much money on that first book. So number 1 is think of yourself as an entrepreneur. Now, I know the word entrepreneur has some sort of Silicon Valley connotations and sort of implies that you need to create this mega business, but that's not true, because the essence of an entrepreneur is someone who creates value from ideas. So takes what's in their head and turns them into value in the world. Now, when we write a book, when we put a book out there, whether that's non-fiction or fiction, basically we're creating value in 2 ways. We're creating value for the readership because they're going to hopefully have their lives changed or be entertained and have some time away from their miserable lives, which is certainly why I used to read a lot of thrillers. And we're also creating value for ourselves because we're selling the books and we're actually making money from our writing, or at least that's the intention for some of us. It will depend on your definition of success. So absolutely, authors create value from ideas. We can basically say, I made this, I turned what was in my head into this, and we can turn that into lots of different products, which I'll come to in a minute. So by thinking about being an entrepreneur, we're sort of taking a forward step. We're taking a proactive attitude to creating new things in the world that give value to our customers, our readers, and to ourselves. And once you reframe your own identity as an author entrepreneur, you will find it much easier to take control of things like marketing or understanding the financials behind some of what being a writer is, and I'll go into in future videos. So doing that initial mindset shift just means that you're much more in control. Number 2, focus on creating scalable income. So what do I mean by scalable? Well, back in the day, I used to implement accounts payable into large corporates. Yes, I was a cubicle slave and spent my days typing on computer systems and working in companies. And basically, I was paid for the hours that I worked. I was an employee for a while, then I was a contractor, but I was always paid for the hours I was there. Now, of course, there's some sick pay, sometimes holiday pay, but you pretty much can't scale you beyond you. And then if you die, that's it. Or if you get sick, that's it. So non-scalable income is money for time. Now, these days, I do still have some non-scalable income. For example, doing professional speaking, when you get paid to do a professional speaking event is pretty much being paid for your time. It can also be marketing and some other things. But my main income these days is scalable. So that means you create once and then you get money over and over again. So thinking of books, for example. So I write this book once and I can sell it over and over and over again, even 70 years after I die, for the life of copyright. So that's quite interesting. Scalable also means that this is not limited. So this is exists as a digital file, how to make a living. It exists then as an ebook, which one person can buy or millions of people can buy. It exists as a print book. It exists as a workbook. I actually have a workbook format. Here it is. I'll show you the workbook format. So that's another format. It's an audiobook. It's translated into French. It can be all these different products. So I create once and I sell it millions of times, or at least hopefully millions of times. So that's the definition of scalable. This video is an example of scalable marketing. So I create it once and then it goes out there into the world and one person could watch it, or nobody, or lots of people, and that's scalable too. So it's essentially you're not basing everything on money for time. You're basing it on what can be expanded, not based on your time anymore. And the book really is the ultimate thing. Just coming to fiction, for example, just getting a Map of Shadows here, which is one of my novels. I'm actually turning this into a screenplay. So you can do this with fiction as well, and obviously there's different formats for fiction. So that's really important. Scalable income is a key to making your living as a writer. Number 3 is develop multiple streams of income. So there is this pervasive myth in publishing. I don't really know why. I think it's a focus on the debut author phenomenon, which is that you can write one book and it will sell gazillion copies, you'll be able to retire, you'll be a multi-millionaire, life will be good. Now, of course, that does happen occasionally, but that's not the reality for most authors. And if you look at the richest authors in the world, according to Forbes, the highest paid authors, people like James Patterson, Stephen King, Nora Roberts, Danielle Steele, these are authors who've been writing consistently one or more books. In fact, for Nora Roberts, she writes a book a month. She writes under 2 names as well. These writers have multiple streams of income from their books. So right now I have 27 books as I do this. So those are 27 different income streams. Then you can multiply that by formats. So of course those are in ebook and they're on multiple sites. So you can get them on Amazon, on the Kindle, on the iPad, in iBooks. You can get them on Kobo, you can get them on Nook, you can get them in different ebook formats. So that multiplies the 27 by all these different ebook formats. Then of course they're in print, they're in box sets. Box sets are amazing. You can do them ebook, print book, audiobook, and turn, this is 3 novels in one box set into, more streams of income. So very excitingly, and then of course audiobook I mentioned, then multiply that by country. So this is the other exciting thing, especially as independent authors, we can publish in 190 countries, and I have actually sold books in 84 countries, and those are all in English. So if you have English books and you publish on sites like Kobo Writing Life, with iBooks, with Amazon, you can get your books out to all these places. You can use print on demand, you don't have to hold stock. There are lots of ways you can turn your books into multiple streams of income. But the important thing is not to rely on one book in one format. And then of course you can use different author names, you can publish in different languages, you can license different intellectual property rights. There are so many ways you can turn one manuscript into multiple streams of income. But you should definitely be thinking about writing more books, about expanding into other genres, and thinking multiple streams of income for long-term success at making a living writing. And finally, number 4 is think global, mobile, and digital. So many authors get quite hung up on wanting to see their physical book in a local bookstore. Now there's nothing wrong with that, and I totally urge you to go ahead and try for that. But what's more exciting is the global possibilities, especially for independent authors, as I mentioned. But what we've got now is a growing population of younger people in, Asia, in sub-Saharan Africa, in Latin America, all over the world, who are using mobile devices to access the internet and to read on. So we can actually meet that population, we can sell to that population, and thinking global, mobile, digital rather than physical in the bookstore down the road from your house will mean that you have greater streams of income coming from these exciting new sources over the years. Okay, so today I shared 4 critical mindsets that you need if you want to make a living with your writing. And if you need any more information, I have How to Make a Living with Your Writing available in ebook, print, and audiobook, as well as workbook formats. And in the meantime, you can get your free author blueprint at thecreativepenn.com/blueprint. Happy writing, and I'll see you next time.